This is part 3, and the next match of the night was Tessmacher versus Madison Rayne for the Knockout Championship. And Tessmacher actually won the match, which really threw me off because what was the point of giving it to Madison Rayne in the first place if she was going to take it right back, you know, the next episode of Impact? So that was just a real throw off for me. I thought the belt would have done better on Madison just because Madison has shown in the past that she can wrestle and hold the belt. And that's not that I'm saying Tessmacher can't. Just like I've said before, Tessmacher's wrestling needs more polishing. It's very, just very like, just she messes up. That's all I can say. Like there was even watching this match, there was a couple moments where I was like, she messed up there, she messed up here. Not that I'm trying to critique her badly, just that because clearly the knockouts are so much better than the divas in WWE. They are a higher grade level than them. So I expect good matches when I watch them, and just like I said, I expected Madison to hold on to the belt and let this go out into a feud, but maybe Madison will be end up getting a rematch going into their next pay per view. Oh, it's Bound for Glory, isn't it? Yeah, so give them a nice. They have a good little time to build up, nice heat between these two for a good pay per view match at Bound for Glory. Last match of the night was Jeff Hardy versus Bully Ray in a BFG series match. This was another great match. Anybody who knows me knows Jeff Hardy is my favorite, and Bully Ray is definitely an excellent wrestler. So without a doubt, these two put on an excellent match that is worth watching. Aces and Eight did try to interfere midway through the match, but Austin Aries and Sting and everybody came running down to help them out, and they ran off Aces and Eight, and Jeff ended up picking up the victory, pinfall. So I think this puts him at 42 now, 7 point, yeah. So he should be at 42 in the BFG series. So I don't know if they have another week before they cut to the top or not. I guess we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that was a great match. And then at the end of the night, I forget what happened. James Storm comes out, and anywho, Aces and Eights come from behind him, and they're kind of clapping, and then they attack him. So I'm sure next week they'll try and, Bobby Roode or someone's going to come out and say, oh, they attacked you just to make it look like it's not you or something. But as my prediction, I don't think James Storm is in charge of Aces and Eight. I think it's Austin Aries, because I think that'd be a great storyline if they fix it to where, like, he, it was him. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. But let's go ahead and move on to SmackDown. The SmackDown, this is the go-home show for SummerSlam. So let's go ahead and see what happened. The first match was Botchkar versus Ray. And that's say versus. Botchkar and Ray beat Miz and Cody. As you can see, the really. I don't know why WWE wants to keep taking momentum kind of away from Miz. I mean, yeah, I guess it's better that Cody got the pinned over Miz, so Miz didn't look as weak in the match. But it just kind of irritates me because now they're taking momentum away from Cody at the same time, and Cody needs a push as well. So by letting these two win, it makes them look bad. But I can understand why they won. They're making Ray look a little stronger going into the match, just because it's seeming like Miz is going to retain the Intercontinental belt. At least I'm hoping. I'll be very upset if Ray does. So yeah, there won't. That's typical WWE promoting. They usually let the person who's going to lose at the pay-per-view look really good going into the pay-per-view, so when they lose, it's like a real shocker, even though it's predictable on their part. So yeah, and I guess it just adds to the Sin Cara Cody feud, which hopefully we're going to see that evolve more in the next few weeks of SmackDown. Hopefully it's not just Cody getting beaten by him pointlessly for the past couple weeks. I'd definitely like to see it become something. Next up, Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rek come out and they just start stripping. They have on these suits and they just start taking off their clothes, and they have their trunks that look like underwear on. And so yeah, it was just kind of really weird. And then they beat two jobbers. So I guess they're trying to make themselves look better. I don't know. It's just weird. But without a doubt, these two are also, one of these tag teams that are building up for the tag team division that's now, starting to get more popularity again in WWE. So hopefully, I wouldn't mind seeing them at some point in the line after the tag division has built itself up, winning the belts, or being in serious feuds for the belts, because they're not a bad tag team. They do work really well together. So, maybe they can be something. Next up, Eve beat Caitlyn to get that position for Booker T. Pointless match, terrible Divas wrestling. Let's move on. Orton had a match against Bryan. He beat him with interference from Kane. But aside from that, this was an excellent match. And I believe during the match, Orton was supposed to be selling a leg injury. But anyway, I look at this as opportunity for WWE. These two didn't have a very long match for me, and I think they could have, shown that they could have put on like an A+ performance. And like during the match, Bryan even had Orton in the no lock, to where and Orton was looking like he couldn't get out of it, and then that's when Kane interfered, and when Bryan came back into the ring, Orton hit RKO and pinned him for the win. But these two performed so well together. Their chemistry was excellent, and I think WWE needs to look at this for the future as a potential feud, as something they could go to, to put on a great match. Orton versus Bryan. Orton's incredibly popular with the crowd. Bryan is just on a hot streak with the crowd, and so this could, lead to a potential future feud somewhere along the line, and I think it would be an excellent feud for WWE to take advantage of. Next up, Antonio Cesaro beat Zack Ryder in the match. It was an okay match. It was very short. Just the point of it was to make Cesaro look good into going into his pre-show match for SummerSlam. I'm a little disappointed their match is on the pre-show, but it's a good pre-show match, and I'm hoping they're not sticking to their typical WWE tactic of making him look good going into the match with his 2 victories over Santino and a victory over Ryder. I'm hoping they let Cesaro take the U.S. title. He really needs it because it's doing absolutely nothing on Santino, and Cesaro can definitely use that to kind of give him more momentum and push him into WWE more. Last match of the night was Del Rio versus Jericho. Del Rio ended up beating Jericho with interference from Ziggler, but before the match even started, backstage, Ziggler had attacked Jericho, and he like hit him with a cart or something. Was just like kind of pounding on him. Booker T ran him off. Jericho still came out to compete in the match. Del Rio won. Was a little kick to the head, and then Booker T after that. Sheamus came out and attacked Del Rio, threw him out the ring, and then Booker T was just kind of say that he wants his world title match reinstated. He wants to face not Sheamus. He wants to face Del Rio at SummerSlam so he can kick his head off. And just after this week on SmackDown, to me it kind of made Booker T look like a weak GM, just because one in the backstage match, not backstage match. I'm saying during the backstage, when Ziggler attacked Jericho, like Booker T didn't really do nothing about it. He just ran Ziggler off. He didn't punish Ziggler. He didn't say like something to make him seem like intimidating as a GM, saying like you're in trouble for that. And then when Sheamus kind of came out and says, I want my match back. I want my match back. Booker T gave him the match back. So to me, it just kind of seemed pointless that Booker T had canceled the match in the first place just to have it reinstated next week. So I guess WWE has their planning for whatever they do. Just to me, it just kind of seemed like a little pointless and all. But I guess we'll see what happens going in SummerSlam. All right, YouTube. This has been Wayne from W&J Wrestling, and thank you for watching A Week in Wrestling.